Hello everyone, welcome to our group presentation for study skills for health and social care at the University of Suffolk. Our topic today is safeguarding vulnerable children and young people in health and social care. So we are a group of 6 people, myself, Muntaha Tariq, after me would be Faika Jawad, Habiba Ali Jima, Fawzia Ahmed, Neelam Ali and Sumaira Bibi. This work is due on 4th of August and we're going to submit it on 26th of July 2026. My part today is to introduce topic which I've explained, safeguarding vulnerable children and young people in health and social care. So what does actually safeguarding means? It is to protect children from abuse, neglect, exploitation or any other harm. It is also means helping them stay well, grow up healthy and safely, and have their rights respected. So this is very important in UK health care and schools that they feel safe. Some children are at more risk than others, and this can be for many different reasons. They might be unwell, they may have disabilities, or they live in difficult situation. They trust us to look after them, and lots of children with support, they are vulnerable. So as a professional, you must look for the signs, which could be different ones. So organizations like NSPCC tell us the most important steps, what we can do and how we can help vulnerable children. So the first step is spotting problems early. So how we can spot problems early? If there is some injuries or problems which are unexplained, and they may have bruises, they may have cuts on their body or something. So you must spot these sort of problems. And the second step is reporting concerns right away. So you cannot just wait for incident to happen. You have to report it right away. If you see any of these signs, the child may feel withdrawn, even though he or she might be with the group of children, but they still feel withdrawn. They just don't feel like part of it. So you have to look for these problems, concerns, and you have to report it. The third step is most important, always putting the child first in everything we do. So whatever step we take, we must put the child at first, and it has to be in the best favor of the child. And it is not just one person's duty, it is the whole team. NHS England adds that we need good leaders, well-trained staff, and different teams working together to keep children safe. And it is not just, of course, one person's duty. Like if someone working on the reception, they have to, if they see something, if they spot something, they have to report it right away. And in the following assignment, we would cover that what are UK's law to protect children, and what happens when safeguarding fails, and what difficulties, problems we face to protect children. So my peers would be explaining rest of the steps one by one. So let's move on to the next person. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Faika Jawad. Today I'll talk about the legal frameworks we must follow to keep vulnerable children and young people safe. These are the official laws and guidance that professionals must follow in health, social care, and education across the UK. Let's start with the legal frameworks. The legal framework 1. Safeguarding is a duty, not an optional responsibility. The Children Act 1989 states that the welfare of the child should always be the main priority when decisions are made. The Children Act 2004 strengthened cooperation between education, health, police, and social care services to improve the protection of children. The CARE Act 2014 mainly protects adults, but it also supports young people during their transition into adult services. Organizations must have trained staff, clear leadership, proper reporting procedures, effective system for escalating safeguarding concerns when children may be at risk. Now move on to legal framework 2, the Equality Act 2010. means we must treat every child fairly, regardless of their race, disability, religion, gender, or place of birth. We must not discriminate against anyone. United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child, UNCRC, is an international agreement that states every child has the right to be safe, be healthy, be heard, be protected from harm. Keeping children safe in education, KCSIE, explains what schools and colleges must do to protect children. They must appoint designated safeguarding leads, DSLS, train staff regularly, recruit staff safely, respond quickly to safeguarding concerns. Sand code of practice. The sand code of practice is important because children with disabilities or additional needs may face communication difficulties and rely more on adults for support. Working together to safeguard children, this guidance requires education, health, police, and social care agencies to share relevant information, assess risks together, coordinate their actions, work together to protect children effectively. Thank you. That's all from my side.
Hi, my name is Ummi Habiba Ali Jima, and I want to tell you about critical analysis key challenges. Protecting system connected with server operational problems. Underfunding may cut the services of early help, specialist help, and make time to make comprehensive assessments. There is an increase in caseloads when there is a staff storage, and this can make professionals give priority to immediate problems at the expense of less visible issues which are delayed. The problem with multi-agency communication gaps is further risky, whereby the health, education, police, and social care possesses different segments of information that do not interrogate or unify the information. According to Johns Barrington and Grealish 2022, the protection of communication is based on professional connections, a mutual understanding, and well defined procedure. Likewise, discipline discroll at 2022 demonstrate that the weakness of coordination may manifest because of description. Thus, policy cannot at time be used to ensure protection unless it is accompanied by sufficient resources, constant staffing, and consistent information sharing. Now I will tell you about the critical analysis barrier. Concerns can be prevented by several barriers in the way of being timely, protective action delayed. Referrals can happen when the staff members are hesitant about whether the evidence exceeds reporting their thresholds. They can be afraid of damaging relationships with their families, or they do not think that another professional will intervene. Lack of continual training creates imbalanced employee empowerment or in identifying abuse. Nothing concern and accelerating administration. Patrick Candia and Wellbury 2022 noted that the multidisciplinary safeguarding training can be enhanced with clear content and better engagement. Protecting fatigue is another danger since long term exposure to suffering, excessive workloads, and work pressure can diminish alertness or even emotional sensitivity. Gampan and Mayant 2023 demonstrated that organizational support is necessary for professional curiosity, supervision, manageable workloads, and lifelong learning must therefore be commensurate and individual responsibility.
Hi everyone, I am Fozia Ahmed. Let's talk about impact of safeguarding failure. Breaches in protection result in immediate bodily harm. Psychological trauma, lack of care, and further exposure to abusive conditions. These can be carried over into adulthood in the form of anxiety, depression, and impaired attachment, lack of educational involvement, substance abuse, or inability to establish trusting relationships. If professionals disregard issues, children think that it is not safe or useless to report them. Driscoll et al. 2021 showed that only the minimization of contact and the loss of the chance to hear the voices of children can suppress the aspects of identification of protection issues. Protecting failures also undermines citizens' trust in the school and the health and social care organizations. Hence, NHS England 2026 underlines that accountability and assurance are key as effective protection safeguards individual children and trust in the broader care system. Now let's talk about case study. An anonymized case would be of a 13-year-old pupil who became withdrawn, and he was often absent and visibly anxious at collection time. A teacher supplied worries, but there was no timelines in passing information to health and social care professionals. As the child revealed later, he was subjected to emotional and physical abuse at home. It was not the failure to give warnings, but the poor continuity in documentation, slow escalation, and insufficient focus on the behavior of the child that went wrong. Working together to safeguard children demands that agencies exchange pertinent information and react through joint estimation. Department for Education 2026, Jahans Benton and Grealish 2022 emphasize multi-agency clarity of communication. The most significant message is that little points become important when experts come together on evidence.
Hello, my name is Neelam Ali, and now let's talk about daily duties. Everyday safeguarding practice start with identification of potential indicator of harms such as unaccounted injuries, abrupt behavior changes, fearfulness. NSPCC Learning 2026 emphasizes that issues must be forwarded to the relevant safeguarding lead or authority as opposed to being neglected or addressed informally. What safeguarding look like in our everyday work? First, it starts with spotting signs that something might be wrong. These signs can include injuries that don't have a clear reason, sudden changes in how a child acts, being very scared and quiet, poor personal hygiene, always seeming hungry, acting in a sexual way that's not right for their age, or missing school or care often for no good reason. It is very important to know you should never try to investigate things on your own instead. Stay calm and listen carefully to what the child says. Write down exactly what they tell you word for word. Follow your workplace's rules for reporting concerns. The NSPCC 2026 says you must pass worries to the person in charge of safeguarding or the right official body. Don't ignore it or try to sort it out privately. When we talk to and support children, we must always think about their age, how they communicate best, their culture and background, any disabilities they have, any what they want and feel. So, good daily safeguarding means watch carefully, write things down properly, report concerns quickly, and treat every child with respect. Next, let's look at how we can make our whole system better for safeguarding right now. Sometimes staff try to handle things alone, but we need strong, trusted rules that everyone follows together to share information. Well, we need the same clear rules, writing down what we find clear guidance on what we can keep private and what we must share, clear people to contact for help, and clear steps to follow when a child is in more danger. For training, one short online courses once a year is not enough. Staff need to learn about how to spot different kind of harm, what the law says we must do, real life situation we might face, and how to work well with other teams. Patrick's, Khandia, and Welbury 2020 say training works best when people from different jobs learn together, like nurses, teacher, and social worker. And most of all, we must listen to children when we plan sport or check on our children's safety. We need to hear what they think, even if they can't put it into words. Sometimes how they act tell us more than what they say, especially if they are too scared to speak up. Driscoll and others 2021 remind us that children have the right to be heard. So making things better comes down to talking, openly learning together, having good sports, and letting children take parts in decision about them. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Sumera Bibi. I want to talk to you about summary of application. This slide highlights the main lesson from the presentation. The most important point is that safeguarding is everyone's responsibility. Teachers, nurses, social workers, sport workers, and managers all have a role in protecting children. The key implication is that everyone have varying degrees of authority and expertise. NHS England 2026 associates protection of quality with responsible leadership, skilled workforce, and trustworthy organizational assurance. The last lesson is that long-term concern do not necessarily translate into long-term harm unless action is taken by professionals who must be consistent and child-centered. Even small concern should be taken seriously because when combined with other information, they may show that a child is at risk. Should always follow safeguarding procedures, keep accurate reports, concern on time, and work together with other agencies to ensure children's safety. Now let's talk about the conclusion.
To conclude, safeguarding is about protecting children and young people from harm. We must be able to recognize, see the sign of abuse, reports, concern without delay, and work together with other professionals. Good communications, teamwork, safeguarding policies are essential. Most importantly, even decisions should be made in the best interests of the children because every child deserves to grow up in a safe and sportive environment. This brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you all for your time and attention. We would be happy to answer any question you may have.